And hello there, I seem to be back. So I just need to do a tiny quick looking at the sound here. Super Nintendo is sometimes a little louder. Right, so I'm just going to adjust that down a little bit. Super Nintendo seems to come through louder than Nintendo, and we just came from a very quiet Nintendo game. So I'm just going to wait until a little bit of music comes in here and see how that goes. I definitely feel like this is still kind of loud. All right, sorry, I just had to read a quick message in the background here. If the audio sounds just about right, that is fantastic. I am just pleased to announce that with Dr. Mutilated's very generous bits, we are at 50% of our goal. So thank you very much, everybody. It's very nice to, of course, have the community come together and, be able to raise money. Retro Gaming Live TV is a fantastic group of lovely humans, and of course the community who joins us here to watch the games and hang out with us as well. And with your generous donations, you are all just so fantastic. So thank you very much for helping make this such a wonderful weekend. And with that, I believe I am going to be ready to play some Mickey Mania for us. As I hit the start button just a little bit too late there. So we have a loading screen on the Super Nintendo, by the way. I have to just wait for the level to load so I can quit out of it. Anyway, just for marathon safety, I am going to be making my tries go up to 5. You see, they are tries. This is a Disney game, so no perishing here. So without further ado, we will be starting. This is a very pretty game. You are traveling through time along with the Mickey cartoons. So there are a couple skips in this game, and I have to admit I'm slightly rusty, so I hope I can get this right. Pretty much here you want to boop the kitty on the nose and then turn around and trigger a cutscene. Maybe I did it. Nice. So you essentially make a cutscene show up, but because there's just a little too much going on in the background, it takes you to a screen that says start or forward and backward. And with that point, you just mash B and you hit forward and go through. So I'm actually kind of proud I was able to do that in the last marathon I was in. I did not do that, so we are off to a better start. So in this stage, you have to ring those bells. The sky starts to light up. Color is brought in. And over here, you want to fight Pete. So over there, I threw the marble so I could hopefully get the cycles of the things going on the next screen. So I can hopefully run through this nicely. And it looks like I did because the boxes are way out of my way. But I'm a little bit off, so I think I'm going to have to wait for that, so we'll just wait patiently here. So we're coming up on the first boss here. It's essentially jumps and 2 throws, but if you're a little rusty, sometimes you have to do it another time, so we'll forgive Sparko. So one more trampoline and I should be able to do this, hopefully. Good. Not too bad. So we've rescued Steamboat Willie and we are off on our next adventure into the spooky scientist's place. Oh no. See here, I just want to wait a little bit and jump in there so I don't take any damage. And that rocket ship, it allows us to respawn anywhere in the level if you die without one of those little checkpoints. pretty bad because of that loading screen that we saw earlier when waiting for the game to start up. It's plays again and you waste a lot of time. So part of the speed run is to take advantage of those very kind rocket ships so you don't have to take any unfortunate deaths. So this level actually, or this part of the level I should say, in the Japanese version you can actually zip across the level. But in the North American version you cannot do that, and unfortunately my Japanese cartridge does not seem to work. So I've never actually had the pleasure of being able to practice that before. So there's another skip upcoming here. Of course, I'll hope that I can just get it right away, but if I cannot, I might try it again just because right up there where I jumped, there is an extra life. So I'll give it a couple tries if I can't. Oh, that was way too late on my part. So I'll just give it maybe 1 or 2 more tries at the most, but this is a pretty short stage in itself, so it's technically not worth it to struggle through it, but I will just try here. And I missed it, so I'm just gonna continue on. Or I will die by accident, and hey, we get to try again, because fun times. Alright, so this time I won't jump into a pit by accident, hopefully, but... And I didn't get it, unfortunately. So, for realsies, this time we will stay alive. No! Hey, have you ever played a game in a video game marathon and tried to say something that you would do and then did not do it? And we got it that time. Maybe the game just really wanted me to be able to show off that skip to you. So fortunately, we got it. I mean, honestly, I really do like to be able to get the skip because if I'm doing it nicely, that means I do not take any damage and therefore have full health to come through this part. So that one's just you know, pretty straightforward run through it, and I believe we're at the elevator right now. Well, to be fair, it wasn't entirely luck. It's a pretty accurate place for where you're supposed to do it. The truth is, I'm just a little bit rusty. Like, I'm definitely cozy enough to the point where I'm not worried about beating the game if I put it on 5 tries, like maybe I said that I would. But some of just the little skips like that can get a little bit tricky if you aren't entirely used to where the timing is. But you know what? It worked out in the end. And so with that, we are off to the boss over here. But first, we get to do some fun science. Is everybody ready for some fun science? Yeah, Sparko, we are. All right. So this is where we get to mix some colors. I love mixing colors. So first we have green. Oh, gotta... No! Excuse me, Mickey, calm down. So we have green and red mixed together to make yellow? That seems a little counterintuitive, but alright. And then we add some blue to make purple, because everyone knows that blue and yellow make purple. Okay, colors is art. This is the science part. We light our purple on fire. See what happens, and eventually it explodes. Hooray! So here's the boss fight. I did get a rocket ship there, so it's definitely not too bad if I happen to lose one of my tries, but there are those stars up there that will help me with my hits as well. So in the top left corner, you'll see Mickey's hand. The fingers represent how many hits I have left, and then the number is how many tries I have left. So it's not uncommon to take a death here just because he's throwing his like little bombs all around, but I did not die there, so we'll have to be careful in the next level. By the way, we saved Pluto, so very important. Exactly, explosions are a beautiful science. So now, welcome to Canada, everybody. This is Sparko, your host, and this is what it's like to run through the mountains. You know, there's some boulders to look out for, falling branches, but we're just going on a nice walk with our dog, and oh no, what's happening? A charging moose. But you know, that's normal. Whenever I'm walking down the street and a moose is coming towards me, I just jump over it because, you know, that's clearly the safest thing to do. I'm going to wait for that rock as well. So this is just a pretty straightforward thing where you let the rock hit you, unfortunately. Okay, that's fine though. I believe there's a rocket right here. Yeah, so we're pretty safe now. So another difference in the Japanese version, you actually are able to see the branches in the trees, so it's not quite as much a guessing game. But you kind of get used to where things are. Yep, that's all of Canada. We hide in caves otherwise. So here's pretty much an auto-scroller of a boss. I mean, you do control the speed where the apples will help give you speed, and you'll definitely need a few of them to beat the thing. To outrun the moose. Apples give you energy. And otherwise, you just want to, you know, jump over the rocks and jump over the water, and I have taken a few... I've not taken a few apples, so I'm actually slowing down there. But thankfully, we are able to get out from the moose's sights. There we go. Alright, so beware everybody. It's time for the spooky ghosts. So this is definitely one of the trickier levels to go through, I think. Oops, oh no. Well, we fell a little bit, but I will be forgiven by hopefully not dying and maybe picking up a few little safety stars. I think that's my plan. So in this level, you now have spooky ghosts. So yes, everybody hug each other if you need some hugs. Get cozy. So there are these things which are pretty difficult for me to jump on. These staircases which fake you out and turn into slides. And here is what I call the hardest jump in the game. And I actually made it up there. Good job, Sparko. So there are some ways to skip these staircases. You still get stuck at the top while the staircase is turning into the slide, but... Oh, I actually got one. Nice. I didn't expect to get one. I was going to say the timing is pretty tight on them, and I was kind of a little worried of making it to one, but you know what? Things are going well today, so why not have one of those work out? So I was just picking up those stars because I definitely like to have my extra health for safety. Oops. Still made it. Good. So these just pop open and shut. You want to jump up them and not fall. We'll head on into the next stage. Just wait for those to wrap up and keep on running. This is essentially the boss stage. Not every stage actually really has a traditional boss. Some of them is just kind of get to the end, and there you are. Oops, I did not mean to get hit there, so let's just pick up that star, and we didn't even miss the rope, and then we jumped off the rope. Well, that's a shame, but that's okay. So I'm just going to wait for this one. And then, so what you essentially do when you're going as fast as possible in this one, you have to push this table to the end to be able to get out of here. And if you have full health, you will just take a few hits and go as fast as possible. It's going to leave me a little bit in trouble, but I think I'll pick up a safety star over here because I won't. I grabbed the rope. You know what? No safety star. Let's just go and be daring. Of course, if I actually take a hit, I'll be a little less daring after, so... I'll probably take one hit on purpose. Wait there. And then, because we missed the door there, I'll definitely just pick up this star on the way out, and we have saved Ghost Hunter Mickey. Or Lonesome Ghost Mickey? Names. So here's Mickey and the Beanstalk. I'd say overall this section is generally a lot easier than the ghost section we just came from, but there's still a few little tricks. I'm concerned here. I really do not want to have that loading screen have to come up because it's a time taker, but we managed to get through there without taking another hit, so hooray! So there we just have to do a little bit of gardening. Obviously, you just push the flower pot right underneath the water and a flower blooms. It's that easy, right? So upcoming here, there's actually a pretty neat jump that you can do if you know how to, and unfortunately, I'm not confident enough. Instead of taking these leaves, you jump across the dragonfly. And it does save some time, but again, that would probably just result in me jumping right into the water, and that's not optimal. I'm just going to try and hop on top of these so I actually make it to the end there, and I did. So I'm going to have to be a wee bit careful here, just making sure that I do not take a hit until I am able to be safe. So, being safe, these little monkey babies fall from the tree, and I missed that, so I'm just going to grab it there. We, in theory, should be safe now. I don't exactly know why these little monkey babies fall from, like, beehives, but I have never watched Mickey and the Beanstalk, so we will leave it at that. So over here, we just go over here and find a dead end, but oh, there's a button. What do you think the button does? I don't know. We'll have to go check it out. So we just take a nice little run down the hill. And look, there's a hole in the ground where there wasn't before. So there's a giant spider here, and she will defeat you in one hit. I can't. She will make you lose a try. That's how you must speak in Disney video game, apparently. So the ladybug will take you to safety and into the next stage. So this one's just a little bit of climbing, kind of getting you warmed up for the whole beanstalk thing, and I sure did fall there. Let's try not to do that again. So because I fell there, I'm going to lose my ability to shoot the marble at that bug, but that's alright. Just take a hop up there to regain one of our stars, and we climb up this thing that I assume is the beanstalk, I guess? Doesn't really look all that stalky, and I don't see any beans on it. Did somebody eat them all? Was it me, Sparko? I love beans. Anyway, here's the boss stage. Not very boss-like at all. It's pretty much just hold left and go. I went under there because there was a star for me to get, and I just love having all the safety health that I can. The gelatin is obviously a highlight of the level because you get to jump on it like a trampoline. But yeah, other than that, it's not very much is in your way here. In the Japanese version, Pluto's running around on that plate that I was just at. But they took him out for the North American release. What's with that? So we're actually headed into the final part of this now, the Prince and the Pauper. It's quite long and pretty challenging, but you know what? I've got 6 lives. I am so confident. It was a table leg. Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. You have just cleared up like 20 years of wondering. That's who I was worried about that making. I'm definitely not making it here, so we'll just go for a bigger swing, a nice big jump, and we've made it. So here we have these pals who are not very pal-like at all. They're shooting arrows and shooting knives. The knife ones actually have a really big, window between when you can hit them and when you can run through them, whereas the arrow ones, it's very tiny, and I've not quite mastered the art of getting through them safely all the time. But I also know where all the safety health is, so I've got my strategies. That knife one is going to throw one at me about now, so you have to jump and watch out for that, but other than that, we've saved the Pauper. Alright, so the next stage in here, I'm at that awkward midpoint of health where I don't know what to do. If I'm at full health, I run through here being brave, and if I have no health, I am, well, obviously not being brave, but when I'm in the middle, I'm kind of, what do I want to do? But for safety today, I chose to not jump into the danger, just in case. Because this next part upcoming here, I really do like to have a little more health than not, so we will do our best to not take any accidental deaths here. So here's duck jump. You've got some momentum and you can do a super high jump if you're lucky, but I got it. Nice. I think you might be able to do it from one more stage lower, but I did not get the first jump. So if you're super brave, you can jump from down here to that ledge over there. But because I am not entirely super brave right now and I'm going for marathon safety, I will just go on with this as I was planning. So on this platform, those little spikies are actually moving around. A little more dangerous. And I'm definitely waiting up here because there is a safety star up here, which I'm going to immediately take a hit right there from that friend. But we got our rocket ship there, which is very important for this part. So I'm most likely going to take a death somewhere. The important thing is feet on the ground. That's my rule, because if you spend the entire bottom of there jumping on the platforms that fall and the enemies, you will respawn a far away back, and that is really not optimal. So if I know I'm going to have to take a death for purposes of refilling my life, then I just have to tell myself, feet on the ground. So we've almost rescued the prince, just have to go through these little spikes. One more arrow one to find. Hello. And there is Spooky Skeleton in some Mickey Mouse ears. Oh, that's not my moving platform. This one's my moving platform. So we made it up here, find the prince, and we are headed into the last area of the game. It's essentially 3 auto-scrollers, but you can control your speed to a certain point, and in the second one, there is one more warp that we can do. And I really hope we do, because if you do make a mistake on the other 2 warps, it's not the worst thing ever, because they're not too difficult to get through, but the part after the warp in the next stage is actually pretty tricky. Like, I have ended many games there. And that part also makes me question how I ever beat this game as a child. So this part's pretty straightforward. You're just running around the staircase. Sometimes the stairs will fall, sometimes they will not. There will be, I believe, 5 sets of buckets coming towards you. If you're super speed running, you're probably going to be running through enough of them so you have 1 hit left at the end of this. But because I'd rather go for slightly safety strats, I am trying to not take any damage here, just in case. The reason you want 1 hit left is you need to take damage to make the last warp work. But because of that, I would rather just keep all of my available health, just in case. And hopefully I can show off that last one for you, because, again, the ending of the other one is kind of difficult. So auto-scroller up this way, because the fire is rising fast, these enemies now only take 1 hit instead of 3 to defeat them, so that's nice. And I'm just going to concentrate a wee bit here, and hopefully I can get the timing right on this. And I did! Alright, we are headed to the boss of the game. The biggest obstacle of all. So, we will fight Pete. So, this is essentially an auto-scroller in itself. Pete follows a set pattern. He throws a sword, spikes fall from the top, or stars rather, then the spikes fall. And you just have to push it under where he's going to land. This happens, I believe, 5 times, and then there is 1 different cycle of things that happens after this. So this part is pretty much just sitting back and relaxing. I mean, you can't get too lazy because you don't want to get hit. There are 3 stars on the other side, too, that can heal me up, but I really don't want to hit them until I actually need the healing. And just because the spikes fall here, I don't even want to bother walking to the other side until I am ready for that. So yeah, last of this cycle is here. And then it'll get slightly more complicated. The stars falling are more oh! I made a mistake there, unfortunately. I forgot that I would have to jump right away. So the way this cycle works is if you miss one cycle, you actually miss two, because you can't hit the ball from this side. So, sorry. So this time, we'll actually remember to jump on the sword when it's time. So you jump and swing the cannonball. I guess it's not a cannonball, it's more of a ball on a chain, but either way. I'm sort of making some wee mistakes here, but I think we're alright. Want to mind where the stars are falling and maybe hit left instead of down when you mean to, but you know what? We're fine. Wrecking ball, that's the word I'm looking for. Now, why Pete rigged this in his own castle, I'm not entirely sure. But, you know, nobody really wants to question video game bosses' logic. So I think we're coming up on time here, I think. Is this the last hit? That's the last hit, and we did it. Pete has been defeated. And so this has a very long outro. And pretty much it tells you that Mickey can now work on his next cartoon. So thank you very much for the GGs, everyone, and thank you for letting me show off these two games. Up next, we are going to have Gunstar Heroes. So we'll just be taking a short break, and then we will be back soon.